Greeting and welcome to the Intensive Success Growth. I'm your host, Nishant Sharma. Please welcome to Terri. Terri is a podcast host, author, success coach, and overcome fear and improve mindset. Welcome, Terri.
Thank you very much, Nishant. I'm happy to be here today with your audience.
Okay, let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Surprisingly enough, that question becomes one of childhood trauma. And I am a survivor of child sexual abuse. The abuse occurred because my mother was an alcoholic and drug addict, and she sold my innocence at the age of 11 so that she could have drugs considered free. So because of that experience, I shut down. I went internalized. I became very depressed and very suicidal for several years. And when I realized, and I'm coming through therapy and all of this occurred in the early 80s, was that part of what was happening was I was taking on shame and guilt that wasn't mine to take on. And for a lot of people, dealing with the fear of what other people think, dealing with the fear of failure, dealing with the fear of not doing your best is really what keeps them from living the life of their dreams.
Okay. So what are the top 3 reasons why do people fail?
Fear, fear, and more fear. Really and truly, fear comes down to why people fail, because if they have limiting beliefs, which is based on a set of fear, or they are afraid to take action, a lot of time they are in the pursuit of what their mind thinks is what they should do versus what their heart and soul feels they. And if you follow your heart, you will always do the right thing. If you take soulful steps, you will always end up thriving instead of just surviving.
Okay, what is your success secrets that other can model from you?
For me, the success secrets come down to really understanding that I need to stay in the present moment. Because if you are fearful of the past, you're depressed. If you're fearful of the future, you're anxious. And the only place that fear doesn't rear its ugly head is in the present moment. In the present moment, Nishant and I are having a nice conversation about how to live successfully and be successful in business and successful in life. And in the present moment is where all action occurs. It's where all love occurs. It's where all peace occurs. It's where all happiness occurs. You can't be happy in the future because you can't be forward thinking that way. You have to be happy in the present moment.
Okay. How do you live in present moment all the time?
It can be difficult because our egoic minds really and truly is that part of us that is meant for survival. So we all have our egos, and its sole purpose is to make sure that we are safe. So if it thinks that taking a risk, maybe I need to go from being full-time to part-time so I can pursue my passion. Well, that's a risk. And the ego will take that risk and say, oh no, what if you don't make money? When it comes right down to it, you have to be able to tell your ego, thank you for pointing out the risk. These are the things I've put in place so the risk can be mitigated. And I'm going to do what my heart's telling me to do. And that's how you stay in overcoming the ego, is really facing it, finding out why it's fearful, and then dealing with those fears. Because normally it's a logical reason, it's a risk factor, or there's something in the past, or you have a limiting belief. There's something in your past, somebody told you long ago that, oh, that's a silly idea, you'll never make any money at it. And now you believe that idea, even though your passion is to try to make that idea come true and have that be your source of income. But if you have that limiting belief that was planted by a seed from somebody else, and you allowed that to foster and grow instead of focusing on those things that will actually benefit you in moving towards your passionate life.
Okay. So what's your company motto?
Always moving forward.
Okay,
Even if you fall flat on your face, I tend to fall forward, not. And even if you take a misstep, it's still a forward motion. Even if it's to the left or to the right, it's still a forward motion, even if it's the wrong step, because in that wrong step, in taking that misstep, you find something you didn't know. You discover things you didn't realize before that can move you towards your dreams.
Okay. Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client is someone who is ready to do the work and understands that they want to live a better life, and that for them to do so, they have to deal with what caused their fear, to learn to overcome their limiting beliefs about that fear.
Okay. How do you find your ideal client?
Pretty much mouth at this point. I do blog every week. I have a podcast that Soul Solutions podcast that airs every week. And I have the book Raven Transcending Fear. So people know who I am. If you Google Terri Kozlowski, I am the first 7 pages. So I'm out there. And really, it's really that word of mouth. Successful clients coming in, people that have suffered from PSTD that have now overcome that. People have been on medications for years and are coming off their medications because they're learning to deal with the depression. They're learning to deal with the anxiety and understanding that both can be overcome by living in the present moment.
Okay. So how do you deliver 5-star client experience?
When somebody has an aha moment about themselves and how they can move forward in a way that they desire, that is providing them with a different perspective. And that's my job. My job is to give them a different perspective than what they have been playing over and over and over. It's retelling, reframing the stories that are going on inside their heads, the negative self-talk, and providing them with new ways to reframe those stories in that end up being helpful to them.
Okay. How do you start your day?
I start my day, my first hour is Terri time, and I will get up and I do get a cup of coffee, and I have a affirmations that I say every morning, I am statements, which I write out every morning. I have a little book that I write out my I am statements in, and then I journal 3 pages every morning. So that first hour is for me a very grounding time, me to get in touch with my spiritual side so that I stay grounded throughout the day, become very present. So as I move forward, I remind myself that I started off being grounded with whatever happens during, remembering that, I have started out in a place of peace and a place of joy, that I can move forward and handle anything.
What are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for so many things. I'm grateful for Nishant for inviting me to be on his show. I'm grateful for the beautiful lunar eclipse that we had last night, that anybody on the East Coast should have been able to watch. It was fabulous, and the energy shift that's occurring with it. So there's lots of things every day to be grateful for, whether it's the cup of my Earl Grey tea that I had with my oatmeal bites this morning. There's always something to be grateful for.
Okay. How young are you?
I am 54 years young.
Okay. You are not 54-year young. You are 18-year young with 36-year experience.
Ah, that's fabulous.
Thank you. So who is your living mentor and what's the impact?
I would say Deepak Chopra is my living mentor, and mainly because he was the person that was able to get me to the place where I could be quiet and be still. I had tried meditation for years, and through the 21-day meditation series that he does with Oprah Winfrey, I was finally able to get to the place where I could meditate, and it happened accidentally. I was in yoga class, and at the end of yoga class, they have a period of corpse pose. And during that time, I realized, I have no thoughts in my head. Oh my gosh, I think this is meditation. And I kept going to yoga class just to try to make sure if I could recreate that experience. And then I realized I get it now. It's not necessarily about not having thoughts in your head. It's about being able to dismiss them and being the observer between those thoughts.
Okay. I also doing meditation last 7 years, and yoga I am also doing.
Good.
Thank you. So, what advice you will give younger yourself, like 20, like when you are 20 years young? So, what advice you will give?
I would self as I would any young person. It's going to work out. It's going to work out. Maybe not as you thought, maybe not as you planned, but it always does work out for the best. And sometimes we just have to let go of our control. We have to let go of the struggle because life isn't supposed to be about struggling. Life is supposed to be about being. And in being, do less doing because the struggle is all the doing that we try to accomplish, all those things we put forth out there. And when we decide just to be and let go of the struggle, life becomes quite joyous and quite easygoing, and it flows because now we're in the cosmic flow with the universe.
Okay. What do you want to remember for?
I want to be remembered that I help someone see a different perspective about themselves or about their life or about an experience that they're struggling with. And being able to show them that different perspective, it enlightens them and within themselves so they can shine brighter.
Okay. How can we support you?
You can go to terrikozlowski.com and read my blog or subscribe to my podcast at the soulsolutionspodcast.com or go to Amazon or raventranscendingfear.com and buy my book.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So, what would you like to say about your guest experience on this show?
This has been fabulous. I like the fact that Nishant stuck to his guns and asked the questions, and we didn't go off on too many tangents, and that it really is about helping others see that we're all the same. And we all struggle with the same thing. We all want to be successful. We all want to be able to look at each other and smile and make an authentic connection with somebody so that we can grow from that experience.
Right. So, what's your final word?
My final word is you are just as you are, completely worthy and more than enough. We all come to this earth school as infants. And when you look at an infant, they are doing nothing but eating, sleeping, and making a diaper dirty. And yet we still look at those little tiny beings and know they are worth everything that we're putting into them. We know that we love them. We know that they're worth the time and the energy, and they don't have to do anything, and they're just enough. And yet, as we get older, we lose that sense of self-worth, of just being authentically ourselves. And that's exactly who we are. That's exactly what we are. We are worthy and good enough just as we are.
Okay. Thanks, Terri, for sharing your wisdom with us. On the behalf of our team and community, we really appreciate you. Until the next time, all good wishes to you.
Thank you.